at 7 o'clock. That sound good? And the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, as vice chair, I'll run the meeting until we do the reorg.
Yep.
Yep. And if we were on TV, I'd do this big welcome and thing and talk for about 15 minutes and welcome you to the Recreation Department and what a great job we do. And we're excited to have you, and we hope you enjoy working with us.
Appreciate it, thank you very much.
Okay.
Glad to be here.
Can you write that down that I spoke for
Oh,
15
yeah.
minutes?
And are you going to say thank you to Christine for all her hard work?
We did that
We
last
did that already.
meeting, so. Oh, and we can do that again, would you like to? And if we could put in there recognizing Christine Brown for
Thank you.
15 years of service on the Recreation Commission, and what a great job she did, and we really will miss her. And I took 15 minutes for that. How's that sound?
7:30 already?
I applaud.
Okay. Approval of the minutes of March 25th, 2019.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
By David, second by Paul. Did anyone see any changes? I looked it over. I didn't see anything. Looks good?
Yep. Do you need a
Okay.
copy to sign?
Sure.
You guys can sign those.
So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So you probably should have
Abstain.
stayed. Just for the minute portion, and then everything else will be good. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose and abstain?
Stay.
You did a great job.
His first vote.
Your first vote. Should, yeah, here, we'll sign that. I missed you there. Can I take that back?
Oops, sorry.
So we have to initial the minutes when it goes into public records, so just put your initials on it.
Thanks.
Excellent.
Yes.
There's no public participation, so we'll go into the Director of Parks and Recreation report.
On April,
And, just so, Kevin, if you flip the pages, it's this report
Okay,
right
follow.
here, and you can follow it.
oh,
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Last week, we met, a combined Department of Public Works, Parks and Recreation Maintenance, to talk about Parks and Recreation Department maintenance facility, and get a project update. We discussed some of the, or possibly requesting funds for both phases of the project. So the first phase is the central maintenance, Parks and Recreation maintenance building. And then the second phase was going to be the DPW garage, both on Great Meadow Road. After discussion, the architects had presented estimates that they had done, and then two estimates that they had done, and an independent one as well, and they were all within a percent of each other on the project, so they're all on the same page, and there appears to be about $1 million savings if we bid them together. They request all the funds at once, so they've gotten half the funds that they requested last year at town meeting. They're working right now it looks like they're gonna go forward and request funds for both phases at this town meeting, because they do recognize about $1 million savings, and it could be even greater than that. You know, it does a couple things. It ensures that you're getting similar systems for both places, whether it's HVAC or plumbing, fire suppression, those type of things. If you bid it in two phases, you could wind up going out, you know, get a contractor to do one and then a separate contractor to do the other, and they have different subs that they use. So they looked at this as a cost savings, and the committee voted to proceed with seeking the funds at town meeting for both phases of the for the second phase of the project as well. So they'll put everything out to bid once. So, you know, that should lessen the cost for the project. Along with that, they are going before Ways and Means this Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. So if you can attend and support the project, that would be great. They are going to discuss that with Ways and Means and hopefully get their approval to seek the second phase of funding as well. So it basically moves it up on the calendar by about a year. Because their idea was that they would come back in FY '21 next year for the second phase of the project. But by realizing $1 million savings, they are going to ask for it this year. They've also talked about trying to get you know, these projects on the radars of planning board and conservation and things, and a little sooner, and get any issues that may stick out to those boards and commissions discussed ahead of time, so that when they go for their approval, that, you know, all of the other things have been worked out already, and they're putting forward the project and have addressed all the major concerns. So they are looking at the end of the month, the end of April, to have a meeting with representatives from the Planning Board and Conservation Commission, just to talk about permitting and anything glaring in the projects that they'd like to see corrected or looked at. So once they set a hard meeting date, I will let you guys know as well.
So, when we do these things, but for Kevin's benefit, how about if we give a little, not to make the meeting too
Okay.
long, but just
Sure.
introduction on,
So,
we have a garage up at the top of the Harriet Ave, Overlook Park. It's disgusting, it's so bad. The town's found us a new location in Clark and Reed. They bought that property years ago. Do you want to do it, or?
I-
Go ahead.
I'm long-winded, but I'll try to keep this one short. So the town's looking at two different buildings that they have to replace, DPW and then Parks and Recreation maintenance. They bought the former Clark and Reed moving site a few years ago. They looked at it for a fire department. Second idea was a combined central maintenance, Parks and Recreation maintenance facility. And then they know they have to do DPW as well, so they're gonna phase the project. Central maintenance and Parks and Recreation maintenance, we're gonna be phase 1 in the old Clark and Reed site. Phase 2 is going to be DPW. We've been working on a joint building committee. Dave is the rep from the Recreation Commission. Myself, with the architects, and they've realized some savings. So we got the money for phase 1, which is our building, next year. And then phase 2 was gonna be in 2 years. Because of the cost savings, they're going to bid both. They'd like to go forward and ask for the second half of that money this year and bid both projects together to save $1 million. DPW will be going on their same site, and we will be moving from Overlook to the Clark and Reed site. So Clark and Reed is right across from 3rd Ave, right? I'm right, the hotel that they just built there, the Archer. It's-
Where the fire department is, the
Oh, yeah.
substation?
Yeah, the site.
Oh, yeah,
They're in there right now, and then, once the substation, we're looking at November if everything.
I think, yeah, if everything goes smoothly, they're looking to break ground before the winter. So they're gonna demo the existing buildings on the site, is the plan, and then build new on the center of the site. Gives more use of the whole site, and they say about a year for construction, a little more, and then they'll come back and do the DPW garage right after. So they'll have to build on that site, take some buildings down. They'll use maybe some space in central maintenance, but I think they're gonna use our former garage as well. So that'll get 2 new facilities, long overdue. The maintenance one has been very long overdue. DPW has had some better quarters, would you say, over the years, but they're cramped in, you know, it's old, obsolete facility, both of them are, so. looking forward to 2 years from now, 3 years from now, having 2 brand-new facilities that the staff can work out of. And be pretty close to each other, too.
Anything else you want to add?
No, just, I mean, it's a big project, but it's long overdue. I'm sure Bill or Brendan will bring you around to all the parks and everything, and you'll see what we're dealing with right now as far as what the guys are working out of. So once you see that, you'll know, and then we can show you where the new spot's gonna be, but it's gonna be a big improvement.
Come during a
where
rainstorm.
we are right now.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
So, it's gonna be good for us going forward. And I have, this is where our savings cost is. I don't know, I just brought this along if you guys wanna look at it.
Sure.
That's where our money savings is, where they projected the cost and all that type of stuff. We went over this. So these are the hard numbers from the estimates, and that's why they're showing that we're saving $1 million.
Awesome.
So $1 million is a lot of money that we can,
Save the town, that would be awesome. So, do you have any questions on it?
I don't.
It's a new building.
Yeah, beautiful building, yeah.
You'll have lots of questions once we do a tour.
Yeah.
Like, you guys were in this building for that long? They were.
Okay, just so Kevin's,
Yep.
it's the same when everyone that was new, you just, if there's ways to just,
Okay.
okay.
So we'll go into the next one, dog park. We have a dog park that's just about a year old over at Rahanis Park. I don't know if you've been or
No, I haven't
seen it.
seen it.
It's about a 17,000 square foot park, dog park, divided into 2 areas, a active dog or larger dog area and a passive or smaller dog area. The active part is the one that gets used, I'd say 90% of the time. We do have a Friends of the Recreation, Friends of the Burlington Dog Park, thank you, Paul, who do fundraising for upkeep. Their plan down the road is to buy dog bags. They'd like to add some things to the dog park. We got a grant through the Stanton Foundation, which is a private foundation that funds dog parks. That's one of their 3 pillars. It's canine welfare, dog parks, and nuclear science. How the 3 of them fit, I don't know. But they're willing to give money to dog parks. We were able to get a grant. The Friends of raised 10% of the cost of the dog park. And currently, we're heading into our 1-year anniversary. What the foundation does is, over the first 5 years that the park is up and running, you're allowed to ask for a capital improvement grant of equal to 5% of your total construction costs. So we're looking at about $8,000 for improvements. So we met recently and discussed what we'd like to see for improvements. Some of the things were shade structures. We do have some trees that we planted in there, but they're going to take a couple of years to mature and really start to give a canopy. We have some canine grass, which is artificial turf, but the weave on it is different, so it allows better drainage, quicker drainage for dogs when they go to the bathroom on it, and then rain coming through. So we looked at adding some more canine grass to the park, and then the pathway that comes from the parking lot out to the park is about 1/4 inch or 3/4 inch gravel, crushed stone, and it's not super accessible, so we look at replacing that with stone dust, so it's a harder pack and people can get out there. So those were the 3 items that we talked about back in March. We met again last week just to go over, I got some estimates in. The canine grass was pretty expensive. It was about $24,000 for a small area, and that's part of the problem, is that it's such a small area, you don't get a break on the square footage. We talked about adding some shade structures. We're looking at about $4,000 or so for a shade structure. And we talked about maybe doubling the size of it, something that the post can be outside the park and it'll cantilever over into the park and provide some shade. And then about $2,000 to replace the stone dust on the driveway coming in. So we can't make our request of the Stanton Foundation until the park has been open 1 year, which is June 16th. So we still have 2 months or so to discuss this and apply for the money. They come out, the Stanton Foundation comes out, checks out the park, makes sure you're living up to your end, and then, looks at what you're asking for the money for. They feel it's needed, they'll do the grant for us. So they've been really good to work with. The Stanton Foundation, the Friends of have been very generous, and they continue their fundraising for future upkeep and improvements to the park. So we met again, like I said, the other night to look at the 3 items, look at the estimates, and now we're going to get some more estimates because they want to double the size of the canopy for the shade. So that's where we're at with the dog park. Spring field schedules, this time of year, it gets crazy. Everybody wants their field done first. They want to play on the fields before they're ready. And, we've been pretty lucky this spring. We haven't had that lingering snow. Temperatures have been pretty good. Looks like we're going to run into a week or 10 days of some off and on rain. But we try to get the youth sports out onto the turf fields when the high school isn't practicing. We had a schedule that went through Sunday, and we added a few days for the start of this week. I have a feeling that we'll be opening the fields just in the last 4 days. They've greened up tremendously. Once that temperature starts going, the grass is breaking dormancy and starting to grow and feed on the nutrients in the ground. So that's coming around, and then this rain is only going to help. So temperatures look to be pretty decent next week, 50s, high 50s, and maybe some 60s. So that'll push the grass too. But we do try to get the youth sports out onto the fields, and we have allowed high school baseball and softball to play in the outfields with sneakers of those fields. Their infields are all done, and like I said, we'll probably be opening them up on Wednesday, and then it'll be up and down from there. We'll close them for a day if we get rain, like we did today. So it's the youth sports leagues have been really good, very patient. We were able to get soccer out this weekend on Rohannes and Francis Wyman, Upper Rohannes and Francis Wyman. So they were able to start their season, they don't get behind. And then youth lacrosse plays on the turf, and they were able to start 2 weekends ago because they play their teams on the turf. So we field calls all the time. Someone wants something done, and we have to tell them, well, the grass hasn't broken dormancy. We're just as anxious as you are, but the maintenance staff have to go out and prep all the fields as well. So they've lined them, the majority of them, for soccer and lacrosse. High school we line for track as well, the shot put and the discus. So we're moving towards a full opening coming up of all the fields. Volunteer garden, we have a community garden over at Francis Wyman, behind the school, all the way back by Laurel Lane. It's really comprised of 3 parts. There's leased plots, which is really the community garden. And then next to the leased plots, there's what they call the volunteer garden. And the people, Peter Coppola is involved in that. They plant and they give their produce to people helping people. So they stock the food pantry with fresh produce in the summer and fall. So that's there. And then the school started working on a garden. So the Francis Wyman School, it's an educational thing where 1 grade comes out and plants in the spring, and then in the fall, the next grade comes out and they start harvesting. But there's a learning process for both grades, the older grades in the spring and again in the fall. They do their work. We help them out with stone dust for the pathways, wood chips for the pathways. They're responsible for getting their own labor to turn their beds and stuff like that. And we do the leased plots. lease plots are $50 for a, is it 20 by 20? 20 by 20, or a 10 by 10 is $25. So you can do a half plot or a full plot. They're open to Burlington residents, really meant for, people who have a small yard and, or don't have sun in their yard, or someone that may live in an apartment in town, can get out and farm. We do have a community garden manager. It's someone that just checks in, working 10 hours a week, off and on. They'll go mornings, they'll go on the weekends, they may go midday, or they'll go after work, just so they're rotating around. And anyone that's out there farming, if they have questions, they can answer them. And it was better 2 years ago on it. Last year was try to keep up like a monthly reminder of just, hey, don't forget to shut off the hoses, let all the pressure out of the hose, because they sit in the sun sometimes and they start to swell and things like that. And I try to put a little garden quote that I find out there online, something appropriate. And so there's a little list there, an email list that goes out. And then our guys turn the lease plots. And then during the year, we have volunteer groups that want to come in and help out. We'll have them weed the pathways and things like that. So, but we get a end-of-year report from the volunteer garden each year. So I mentioned Peter Capola. We got this report at the end of January, but we got into budget season, so I didn't bring it up until now. But Jane McKinich was also heavily involved in the volunteer garden. She is stepping down, and as of this year, so she has, or they have named their next, volunteer garden coordinator, which will be Fallon Woodbury. Jane did express her gratitude to the commission for always working with them, and making sure that things were getting addressed when they had concerns up there. But in that report, they also talked about that they harvested over 1,600 pounds of food this past year, so fruits and vegetables. Actually vegetables, there was no fruits. Although, is a tomato considered a fruit or vegetable? So I guess fruits and vegetables. So they were helped out by a number of volunteer groups. Peter does a good job getting volunteers to come in companies that are looking for days in the middle of summer, get their employees out and do some gardening and some volunteering. So they were hoping that, they said that, what did she say in the report? I didn't put it in here, but that she thinks that twice they brought food and it wasn't weighed, so they were probably over the 1,600 pounds by a lot. Their goal next year is 2,000 pounds. So it's pretty ambitious, but they've upped it every year since they've been up there. So hopefully we'll get a good growing season this year and they'll be able to do that. I've been contacted again this year about East Middlesex mosquito control. They come and they spray the wetlands in this area for mosquito larvae, and they like to land up at, they start down in Sudbury and work their way up this way. So they use Mary P.C. Cummings up there on Blanchard Road as a landing spot. They're looking at some point next week. I will be away for the week. Bill and I talked about it already. They haven't given an exact date yet when they'll be out spraying. So they've done it. This is the third year now in a row. They'll land the helicopter. The truck will go out with the supplies in it. They'll reload it and it'll take off. It's total 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, and they're out of here. So just wanted to let you guys know, the commission. I try to let you know every year. If you hear of a helicopter landing at Mary PC, that's what it is.
Is it Kevin's year to go on the helicopter?
That usually, yes, that's usually the rookie gets that. They do hoist you up.
Right.
So the helicopter hovers and then they pull you up, so.
They can lift me.
So that's all I have for now.
All right, any questions for Brendan?
That's impressive with the volunteer guy and that much food.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Go to the food pantry.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And hopefully, people are taking advantage of it at the food pantry, and they don't have to
Yeah.
throw much of it out. But
Right.
it's always good to have, nice fresh vegetables in the summer.
That's awesome.
And they got their plants and their seeds for free, I think, from Farmer Brown's? Farmer Dave's. So,
Excellent. So can we go to the maintenance report? Bill Baker and Kevin Wexler. Yeah. All right.
All right. Some things we've worked on since the last meeting. Like Brendan was saying, we've been fortunate, had some nice weather, and our field, the ball fields are really all in pretty good shape. We're getting work done on all of them. We've pretty much been to all of them. Some of them are low of clay, but they are really in good shape. The work done's consisted of cutting out sod, adding clay, cleaning up the leaves, thatching, and fertilizing. And we've also gotten a number of our other areas fertilized for the spring. The soccer and lacrosse fields have all been lined except for I think one lacrosse field hasn't been lined yet, but all the soccer is lined. We had to shovel about a half dozen soccer goals around town to get our soccer fields ready. We set up the temporary fence at Francis Wyman outfield and Lower Simons, both fields there. We removed and cleaned up a large tree that fell at Simons during the windstorm a few weeks back. A huge tree. We turned on the water at the high school field house, and we'll slowly begin getting all our water and irrigation systems turned on. We actually got our harness turned on today, and the bathrooms up at Simons turned on today too. We covered all the bulbs in the common with blue lenses for the Lighted Up Blue Autism Awareness Month. And we've been keeping up with the trash in all our areas and restocking the parks with additional barrels and new recycling bins for the spring. And also we dug out forms on the common for the new barrels. I didn't get that on the report. And moved the bench from the left side of the library to the right. The library director didn't like the one on the left, so we put them both together on the right side. And that's about it.
Hey, I have a question. What did you do with the, I didn't understand. I saw you doing it on Saturday, cutting out forms?
The common, yeah.
What do you mean by doing
We're gonna
that?
be
You
pouring
put cement?
forms, yeah, to set the new barrels.
Excellent.
the selectmen bought, well, out of DPW budget, they bought last, late summer, early fall, they bought, is when they came in, new decorative trash barrels that are half, 60/40, trash and recycling. So we don't have to put a wire mesh one next to one of those pebbled barrels. Those barrels were falling apart, leaning, so these, they poured square pads, and they'll mount the
Yeah, we didn't pour
new
them.
barrels.
We dug them out. We'll try to get them poured this week.
So we have 10 new barrels going out there.
Yeah, that was Saturday morning, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I was wondering when you guys were doing that. Like, oh, what's going on?
Digging holes.
Holes.
Yeah, that was early.
And that, yeah, the bench at the library they installed, you guys did that last summer, right? And
Yeah,
then it was in the shade, it was kind of on a slope, they didn't, so they had asked if we could move it to the other side, and these guys were able to do it this weekend, as well as working on ball fields, built pitcher's mounds at Simons, renovated two other fields behind the high school, the softball, or behind center school, the softball and baseball field there too.
And Wildwood also.
Wildwood, yeah, thank you. The two fields there, so.
Excellent. Thank you for spreading the fiber mulch at the playgrounds.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. And can we fertilize in front of the Grandview? You know, it's.
Yeah, we're going to. Actually, we're planning on using the hydro seeder this week.
Okay.
There's a dead patch from the winter from them plowing the sidewalks, and we're gonna be spraying that this week.
Right, and fertilizing.
Yep.
It's just, people rent it now.
Yep.
It would be nice if the grass,
Yeah, the fertilizer's mixed in with the hydro seeding, and
right,
it should come up nice.
yeah, just because it's like a function facility. It'd be nice if we keep it up.
Yep.
Okay. Questions for Billy? Anyone else?
So we'll
Okay.
be able to get the fields open Wednesday?
Yeah, we should. I mean, they're all,
Yeah.
and surprisingly, they're really in good shape.
Yeah.
Every field we've been on is surprising us, so.
Good.
We have a pile of clay ready to go that got delivered last
Yeah.
week, so.
There's some base paths that are a little low and things like that, but nothing, nothing too difficult.
Excellent. All right, nothing for Billy. Kelly, Recreation, Kelly Lehman, Recreation Program. Sorry.
So, no worries. So, we had a few spring special events this week. The first one was our Light It Up Blue event on Tuesday, April 2nd, to honor World Autism Day and raise awareness and acceptance for those living with autism and their families. The initiative actually lasts the whole month of April, which is why our common is lit up blue. We had approximately 75 people in attendance at our kickoff event. And there are a number of businesses around town who will be lighting it up blue all April to help support autism awareness and acceptance. And I have provided a list of those businesses here for you guys to take a look at. If you visit those businesses, there is something, each of them is doing something different. For example, a Whole Bunch Flowers will be selling a blue bouquet of flowers at a special cost for the month of April. Dave's Liquor Cabinet's been decorated blue. I'm excited to see the new lights up. And a number of places have done that, including Be Good. If you go to True North, you can get blueberry muffins for free. And they're also promoting a special blue drink this month. I'm not quite sure. It's a blueberry. I don't drink coffee. I couldn't tell you exactly what it is. So we are excited. This list is about double the list we had last year. So I would like to thank Kate DeAngelis, who's our part-time recreation therapist. She put together the Light It Up Blue kickoff event and has coordinated with all of these businesses. So she did a great job. It was her first event with us, so we were excited to see what she could do. Not on here, we had sneaker prom on Friday.
Okay,
Oh.
on the
Light It Up Blue?
Light It Up
Yep.
Blue, the event on Tuesday I went
Sure.
to, it was great. The attendance was awesome. The speaker was excellent.
He was great.
Yeah, and Kate did a great job.
She did.
She got out in front of everyone, and great speaker, and she's gonna do really well in recreation.
I think so too.
So give her a shout out for us.
So I
We'll
wasn't
do
able to
a
make
little-
it.
yeah.
So what was the theme?
So this year we had a number of activities for families to do once again. So there's a banner and everybody got to put their handprints on it. There were puzzle pieces that kids could decorate or family members could decorate. That's now hanging in our hallway in the office, just promoting the month as well. We also had a number of fidgets for kids to play with. We did have the Burlington Police Department, Stephen Papagno was there to speak about the initiatives that the police and fire departments are undertaking to help those of different abilities. We had, I'm going to say his last name wrong. Do you remember how to say it? Christian
Testios.
Who is an adult who grew up with autism and currently is on the spectrum. And he spoke about starting from a kid and, getting diagnosed and having his family feel really impacted by it and, thought that he wouldn't be able to do anything. And a year and a half ago, he graduated from college. He is fully functioning on his own at this point. And he just kind of talked about that process and what that meant for him and some of his struggles, which a lot of families in Grandview could relate to. It kind of gave some of them, a little bit of hope for their family members as well.
Yeah. So just having in my store, the Light It Up Blue, the conversations you have with customers and the stories you hear, and I think every year it's just getting more and more people are really talking about it, and you know, whatever spectrum you are on the autism level, it could be very mild to very severe, but it's unbelievable, and it's a great job. I get emotional just thinking about it, 'cause, you know, obviously I know a bunch of my friends, kids have autism, but just to give them a chance, what you guys are doing through Therapeutic Rec, and I know it's getting bigger. I think we should just keep working harder to do what we can for those kids. But anyone, grown-ups, anyone, it's awesome.
Yeah.
There's some great stories out there.
There really are. Really are.
That's all.
Nice, awesome.
So I'm
Okay,
gonna,
I'm
I'm gonna
sorry.
jump to Sneaker Prom. It's not on here. I forgot to write about it. I'm sorry. Sneaker Prom was Friday night, so our Sneaker Prom is an event for 16 and older, participants who are 16 and older who have a disability. They come in semi-formal attire if they want, and they wear their sneakers, and we just kind of hang out for the night and have a prom setting. This year was 80s themed, so there was a bunch of sunglasses and air guitars and those snap bracelets, like make your own snap bracelets. They also got to do karaoke. We had a build your own burger bar. Like they just loved it. We had about 30 people in attendance at that, which was great. So that was the couple of events we have this week. Our next event technically is April 13th. My report this week is not ideal. April 13th, we have a community safety event in cooperation with the Burlington Police Department and Fire Department. That is also a TR event where we are bringing the community services in to the Murray Kelly Wing. And they are going to talk about the initiatives that they have specifically for their departments. In addition, they're going to have vehicles there, so there will be a fire truck, an ambulance, and a police car for kids to kind of go in and see what it looks like. You know, when you see an ambulance for the first time, it's really scary and overwhelming. Imagine being somewhere on the autism spectrum and not knowing what you're seeing and all these bright lights at you. The fire department is also going to bring an officer in full turnout gear, so they can see what it looks like to have a fireman come up to them with the full mask on, and they can, you know, look and touch and feel and see what that is. So, you know, God forbid a child is in a fire, and, you know, most kids with autism are going to go and run and hide somewhere. So the fire department's going to have to look for them, and when they do, we don't want them to be afraid of them. We want them to be able to have that conversation and you know, start the conversation in a safe environment for them. So we're excited about the event on the 13th. That is 3 to 5 at the Murray Kelly Wing. We are expecting a good number of people at that event. So that is that event. And then our other event that's on here is the Easter egg hunt. That's on April 18th at Simons Park. We have approximately 300 people registered at this point. That will be a large Easter egg hunt. We have some games and activities planned for the day, and then photos with the Easter Bunny. Also on April 18th, we do our sensory Easter Bunny. So the Easter Bunny will be at a secure location, and we've had some families sign up for a number of kids with different abilities, so they can get access to the Easter Bunny without all of the other sensory stuff going on. So we do that at a separate location, give them some time to meet with the Easter Bunny and kind of get used to it. And most families end up with a photo with the Easter Bunny, which is the first time for a lot of them. So we're excited about that. I'm going to move on from special events. We're good. Summer, we've begun our summer interviewing process. We are interviewing approximately 30 people for probably 15 spots in our summer programming at this point. And we'll continue to interview through April vacation, and we will be notifying everyone who's interviewed with us either way by the end of April. We hope to get contracts out by May 1st. That's always our goal. We also hosted the annual softball coaches meeting on March 28th, and where we reviewed the rules and expectations of the league. All the softball captains are very excited for when fields actually open and they get to get out there and start playing. But at this point, they're waiting for the okay from us.
Oh, question on the, not as much you, Kelly, but right field in Rotary, where they did that pipe down to Cambridge Street. Is that it's a temporary fence?
It's temporary fence. I played phone tag with the Northeastern rep last week at the end of the week. He owes me the next phone call, but I'll reach back out to him tomorrow. John Tobin is his name. So we didn't discuss anything because we kept saying, all right, give me a call back. I'll be at this number, and we just missed each other. It is a temporary fence. They have the other fence there. So I just don't know where they are in their project to be able to put the permanent fence back up. If they need to come in, closer anymore to do work under the ground or what. So once I find that out, I will let everyone know.
Are we getting more water because of that? Okay.
No.
I drove by one day and it seemed like the field was super wet, and it's always the problem.
Yes, but sometimes we get heavy rains and there's not really a puddle. Other times we get light rains and there's a puddle. So I'm not sure there's a real rhyme or reason always, but days you would think it would be just underwater, there's like one or two small puddles. They still need to be addressed, but they are still working on their driveway too. I had talked previously that they're gonna put in some better drainage on the driveway. They had talked about, putting, I don't wanna call them speed bumps, but humps that would direct the water off to the sides to their, I don't wanna call them gutters, drainage areas that are filled with riprap, so it'll just, flow down through that. And possibly, help us out on our side of the road by just creating a little bit bigger of an earthen berm to keep water from going over. But the road what they did through the woods was a water line. So I don't know if they have to keep a road there, over the water line so it can always be accessed, just a gravel road. I don't know from the planning board, do you know?
I don't recall, no.
So
I remember we did extensive permitting on that.
yeah, so I will speak with, continue to play some phone tag with John, hopefully connect with him in the next couple days and get an answer.
Okay, excellent.
Can I just add one more thing? I'm sorry. Laurel
my gosh.
Rossiter, our therapeutic recreation specialist, has been nominated as a CHOP champion. So if you guys have a few minutes, voting is now until the end of the week. You can vote every day. So if you wouldn't mind going on and throwing her vote, she's in the community category.
What did she pick for her favorite charity?
Waypoint Adventures. They're a local charity out of Lexington. Well, they're a nonprofit out of Lexington. We partner with them to do a number of our adventure-based programming. They do a lot of kayaking and hiking. They came in and did the rock climbing, the indoor rock climbing when we went with our TR group. They do a lot of great work for people with disabilities and outdoor education venues.
Excellent. Okay. Anyone have questions for Kelly? Okay.
Vote every day too for
Yeah,
Laurel.
once a day, every day.
Until
What is
the
that? I
12th.
forget, what do we go to, Chops?
Yeah.
Chop.com or whatever? Just-
Is that what you want to? I'll send the link tomorrow.
Okay.
How's that?
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Send it every day.
Yeah.
The same link.
I get.
Same link. And you can
Sidetracked,
vote. You
so-
can vote from your phone, from
Yeah.
your work computer, from your home computer or laptop. Every IP address. That's how it recognizes different computers, right?
Yeah.
Send out blast emails.
Okay. If we're good, subcommittees, Brendan always gets to the dog park, and I went to the Friends of the Dog Park, and they're not all in agreement yet on where they want to spend the next funds, so there's another meeting they'll have. Any other subcommittees?
We had the meeting for the maintenance building last week. It went well. We approved it to put in one thing, and then we got Ways and Means on Wednesday night. So basically, saying
Yeah.
that's all I have.
I won't be able to go. You gonna be there?
I'll be there, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Anything else?
everything's, as far as that goes, I mean, Brendan, the guys have really, they've been with the architects, going over a lot of stuff. They've had a lot of their own meetings with them guys, and the plans are starting to come together, and hopefully we have a lot more detail when we go with the planning board and the conservation commission, So we sort of, we'll have everyone in the same room so we can actually, so you guys can have whatever questions going forward before we get into the permitting and all that type of stuff. So It's a big project with some delicate issues as far as where it's at.
Just let us know.
Yeah.
Paul, anything on parking?
No, I just, gonna be interested, how's, you know, we did the program at the Wildwood Park for the field, and I know you really can't tell a lot yet, but it'll be interesting to follow that, because, you know, we may, if it works out as well as we hoped, you know, be doing that with some of the other fields.
So they're gonna be coming back to do another round of slice seeding over there, and they'll get the spring fertilizer out there, continue with that. The maintenance staff has been able to fertilize other areas and stay on top of that. And they're gonna do some hydro seeding, because I've had a hydro seeder for a while, but never up and operational. So now it's up and operational. We'll be able to, you know, hit even the Grandview Farm they talked about, some areas on the town common where the electrical went in. Those didn't grow in super great last year. They did, but we'll hit them again. And then some spots on the front hill at Simon's we talked about along
Yep.
Cambridge Street.
Yep.
So hopefully we'll get some good results with that, and then, you know, we can do some more seeding in the fall going forward. But I think we'll see good progress again at Wildwood this spring too, and going into the summer.
Okay. That it, Paul?
Yeah.
Okay. So new business, we had the reorganization, and Kevin, every year we reorganize who's chairperson, who's vice chair. So the tradition is the chair steps down, passes the gavel to Brendan. Brendan takes, entertains a motion to who would be chairperson, and we vote on that, and then we do vice chair. Right?
Yep, so in the absence of a chair, Kevin is the vice chair. I'd entertain a motion for a chair for the 2019-20 Recreation Commission, the next year.
I motion to put Kevin Sullivan as chairperson for the Recreation Commission for 2019.
Second?
I'll second that.
Thank you.
You get your name.
Motion,
Thanks, Paul.
For
Dave
which
Nord.
Kevin though? For Sullivan or Sheehan?
yep.
So-
Do you want me to
motion.
chairperson?
The motion was for Kevin Sullivan to be the chair
Okay.
for the next year, made by Dave Norton and seconded by Kevin Sheehan. Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
4-0.
Voted for myself.
4-0-0.
All right.
I'll turn the meeting.
And then I get it back.
Yep.
How was that?
Yep.
So now we need to have a vice chair. Anyone, and I'd like to make a motion that we have David Norton be vice chair.
He did a great job, so I will second your motion.
All right, is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so 4-0-0. We take turns. Once you are up there and ready and you want to be vice chair, chair. Yeah, yeah.
You gotta
Kevin
run-
was a
you
good
gotta
man.
run a-
Kevin was a good
You
man.
gotta run a campaign, though.
I'll be chair next year.
Well, it's just a comfort.
Yeah.
It takes a while to get used to it, and then
Yeah.
running the meeting's a little different than sitting, so you'll get the hang of it. Okay, any other new business that we have to address? Old business?
I have a couple just quick updates. We talked about volunteer groups coming out, so it looks like we're gonna have one next week, Oracle. Bill and I talked about having them work on the common. It'll be before Easter, and we'll get it cleaned up. It's in pretty good shape now, but they'll do the beds, weed them, and we'll get some mulch out there. We also have BBSA opens their season Easter weekend, right? So 2 Saturdays. So we'll be busy the end of next week preparing for that. Getting the beds up at Simon's as well cleaned up and making sure the field, all the leaves are up. And then we have the Duffy Properties group, which is doing the Building 19 and a half site. They're gonna come in the week after that, the week after Easter, and they're gonna do some cleanup through the woods at Simon's Park. So we have those, and we have some seasonal staff starting next week on the 16th. We have 3 people starting. We have, the rest will start at some point late May, early June. So we'll do that. And then Marvin Field, just a quick update on that. Kevin, there's been some talk on, the town lists Marvin Field as being, the assessor's office as being the owner of Marvin Field. But it was, at some point, it was part of the Mary P.C. Cummings estate, but it, back in the early 60s, 62 or 64, right in there, it was voted at town meeting to take it by eminent domain to be used as a park for what it is. Recently, the Friends of Mary P.C. Cummings Park have looked into it and trying to figure out who the owner should be. The research that they did says that it was never recorded with the state registry of deeds. So at a recent, and the reason for all of this is the Boston property, which is Mary P.C. Cummings. They're turning over the maintenance and care of the property to the trustees of the reservation, which is a large land management group throughout Massachusetts, if you're not familiar with them. Anyways, the trustees are looking out for the town's best interest. They'd like the commission to take a vote to call it open space or label it as open space. The commission shouldn't take a vote if it's not their property to vote on. So I did turn it over to town council, as we talked about at the last meeting. She did get back to me and said that, you know, it looks like the town is the rightful owner, but she was gonna do a little more digging. And then 2 of the documents that I had shared with her, she said those would really be attached to the deed card in the assessor's office, or the assessor's card in their office, so that if anyone pulls it up, it gives the full backstory that it's the 2 town meeting votes and the Recreation Commission vote from 1960, whatever. So share that with the assessor's office. But just a little update on where we are. As I get more information, we'll continue to discuss it, and we'll share it with the Friends of Mary Cummings as well.
All right, is that the same time as the water tower? Same?
Around the same time, yes.
Okay.
So the water tower went through, which is pretty clean. For whatever reason, they weren't able, I don't know how it didn't get recorded or where it got recorded, but
Okay.
the other one, so, okay.
All right, that's
was it.
important. Any other old business?
Nope,
Okay, so any need for an executive session?
not right now.
Okay, and so the next meeting will be at 7 o'clock, April 22nd,
Yep.
here at the school committee room.
Okay, do you want to have that meeting? I'm only asking, I'm gone the week before, it's Easter the day before. When I come back on that Saturday, I'm not going to have a report to prepare. How do you want to do that meeting? Do you want to see if we need something prior to town meeting in May? You know, if we need a second meeting then, what would you like to do?
Why don't we keep it at the moment in case we need any votes for town meeting?
Okay,
And the week before, we can cancel it if we,
okay.
does that sound all right?
Yeah.
That's fine, yeah. I'm going to be away, so if you, I'll
You
try
have a
to.
cell phone. As long as
Yep.
you're in the country, we can get you there.
Even out of the country, you could get me. But, so I will try, I'll put a note in my phone to, maybe I'll send you a text message that Wednesday,
Before you leave. Or we
leaving
can-
Saturday.
This Saturday?
Yeah, so it's next week I'm gone, and the meeting is the Monday after Easter, the
I
22nd.
think
so.
Brian is saying that if he has nothing to report, because you're
Well,
not
why
going to
have
be
it?
around.
Okay.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
getting at, but
yeah,
I understand what you're saying. If there's something that pops up that we have to vote on, if Ways and Means says, oh, no, we're not going to move forward with that, you know, the commission might want to make a vote to say, no, we're moving forward with that without their blessing. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Or we could have a meeting, have to come back like midweek if we get
Right,
together.
we could do that too.
It's whatever,
So-
it's up to you.
Okay. Do you want to just keep it?
We'll keep it, and I'll send you a text message or an email around the 18th, right? 17th, that Wednesday.
Everything by Tuesday.
Okay.
Kelly, you would know how to cancel it, right? Billy, you know how to cancel it?
Sure.
Okay.
He says, no problem.
Well,
Ask Kelly.
Just in case, let's keep it on,
Okay.
because it's easier to cancel a meeting than not have.
Yes. But, so moving forward as well, we are, you want to keep them at night. Here, the room is clear for the rest of our meetings. We checked that after last meeting, so it will be back here.
Yeah, morning
Works for
meetings
you.
didn't
Yep.
work for me at all.
Yeah, it was tough for me too, but I know it's
Okay.
probably easier on you guys because, we're not taking away a night.
Some of us like morning meetings, some of us don't.
I could have done either one, it's just,
Because Kelly did not like it.
I didn't, I'm
We will-
sorry.
We'll have them in the evening. Yeah.
You didn't like the morning ones?
No, I'm usually at work really early, but for some reason, every Monday, I could never get here at 8 o'clock. Something happened, like there was an accident on the highway or something, and I was always rushing to be here.
It's an
No,
hour
he's
drive.
usually- he's usually at a funeral, so that's tough.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll keep it to 7 o'clock. We don't want to go earlier, right?
Yep.
As I told you,
Right.
I'm so available at Sunday also.
People are interested in earlier on a Monday night.
Oh.
Could do that.
Earlier than 7.
Yeah, like if we wanted to do 6. The selectmen moved to 6.
I don't do 6.
Because
There's-
it's
Well,
dinner.
that's Tuesday.
That's right.
Quality
Right.
time and dinner. I got it.
No, that's
3:30 would be good.
that time, I mean,
Mid-afternoon.
we eat at 6 o'clock, and sometimes that's the only time we hardly see each other during the day. But that's kind of sacred time in our house.
Okay.
Okay, so we stay away from 6. All right. Okay.
All right.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
Second by Paul. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstain? All right, 400. How was that?
Right?
Not too bad, right?
Painless, right?
No, but ask questions about stuff. Like, I know we were talking about the facilities, and I don't even knew we were building a facility. Right? Did you know?
No? Well, I
Okay.
saw it, I saw the construction down there, that
Yeah.
fire station, right? Is that what you mean?
No,
You mean up the missile site?
behind RKO. Do you know where RKO, the radio station was?
No.
You know the road that you would cut down to go
Is
towards?
that,
Staples.
is that Meadow Road?
Yeah,
Because
oh,
that-
yeah, yeah.
It's
There
right,
used to be the
yeah,
Academy
yes,
building.
right,
So
right.
right before that, the Clark and Reed site,
Yeah.
that the town.
there was
bought.
a
Right,
storage
yeah,
site
yeah.
over there. They're gonna tear that down.
Right.
Where is
The,
it now?
the fire station is actually in that building that you could actually see
Those are those
the actual
giant towers
buildings
that
over
are
here,
in
but the
the-
substation
in
is
the
in there.
aquifer.
They're building the
That
new
was on the
substation.
radio.
So the fire station
what
should be
Jack
done
was
by the
teaching?
summer completely. And then they're gonna move in there and then they're gonna tear down that site if it gets
I think
approved.
so, yeah.
Yeah, they had to have people over there to man that part of town, so there's a trailer with the firemen and
And you should set up some.
Is it
Yeah, that's what I'm
transmission
saying, maybe
spot?
take a tour,
Yeah,
like I
take a
said.
tour of all the parks
Is
and
the-
the maintenance building.
Yeah.
With
So who'd you
Brendan.
go with last time?
Secret
I went with
radio
Rich.
transmission
Rich
towers.
drove me around.
If you,
all the,
where did I
just
see
so,
it?
all the stuff that we're in charge of,
Yeah.
or what they take care
Yeah,
of,
that'd be
what
great.
we vote on and stuff like that.
Or NBC,
There's little parks,
NBC is a
and
transmission.
see the
coordinator or
maintenance
something.
building, where we're gonna be building the new maintenance
Who
building.
would I coordinate that with?
Brenda and Billy.
Okay.
Oh, Brenda.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to go on a park tour?
Yeah.
How about 2 weeks?
In 2 weeks?
Yeah.
I'm away next week too, so.
Yep, and then this week is going to be over before we know it, just in the field stuff, so.
That sounds great, yeah.
All right, or we could do it in 2 parts, maybe one day later this week. We could go see
Yeah.
some, and then
I won't be around this week.
this week,
Leaving
okay.
tomorrow, yeah.
You are, okay. Going anywhere good?
Hawaii.
Oh, that is good.
Are you taking the flight?
The direct flight?
Not the direct flight, no.
I'm tempted, honest to God.
Yeah,
I
you
said
just
to
come out with
Jane,
that
look,
plane
let's
airlines.
hop on that thing and go to
I
Honolulu.
wonder how many hours it is.
They said it's 10 hours.
10
Yeah.
hours.
Has a direct flight?
Huh?
JetBlue,
No.
Hawaiian
yeah,
Airlines.
Hawaiian Airlines paired with
It's
JetBlue.
Hawaiian
Oh, is it?
Airlines. It's like 13 hours.
Hey, Kevin,
Yeah.
sorry,
The,
question
no,
for
it's
this
less than
meeting
13.
then.
Is it?
I thought it was 10.
They go 10, it's 10 or 11 at the most.
Jesus, it seemed like we went from
Three game thing last
San
night they had
Francisco
on
one time, and it seemed
board.
like,
So for this
my wife's
And,
not here at the airport.
I was thinking, I should probably put that out for New England
Then it's a
people going to
two-day
a
flight.
conference.
I know she's
Fly to
out.
San Francisco.
I said to Carter and my nephew, who were
Maybe we can get it for Turkey.
We went out, I had a
I think
meeting.
so.
This
I said to him, I said, what if they roll up on our connecting flight from Atlanta to Orlando, with that one, I get on it. All the
Stay in LA.
AirTran, when AirTran, before they were bought out by Southwest, went to a conference in Seattle, and all the planes out there, coming in were Disney planes. Like they had like, what's it, Tinkerbell and stuff on them, yeah, at the airport in Seattle, because they must have been the connecting.
Every time I'm like, you know, especially since I don't
Yeah.
have history of that.
Well, on our flight back from there, they delayed it, and they said, oh, it'll be 20 minutes, and then the next thing you know, it was over an hour.
It is.
Especially if you don't write it.
Someone asked,
Right. And
you know,
if
what's the
yeah,
delay?
and everything, and then you have some
They said,
history too. so
oh,
you know,
it's a new plane.
but-
Sometimes
It's on its test flight.
You start
You think,
sliding it.
yeah,
Got on,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
brand new, like it smelled brand new.
All right, Kevin, you did a
And
great
then
job.
I said something
mess
to
up.
like the co-pilot.
Yeah, so
Okay,
there-
what time does the
They were
game
still
start?
putting the decals on it.
9:20.
Like,
I have to start that late?
got on, it was the first time I went on the
Nobody
plane with
has
the curved up wings
You
at the
sure?
end.
No,
I'm like,
no, no.
This is experimental.
I'm not bad.
This
I
is,
am-
I've never been on
I
a
know,
plane.
I owe you, you said no, I know.
We do it-
Little
we do it
nervous,
for
but
everyone.
flew great.
Nice, yeah.
So,
We're still here, so it's fine, right?
you got a pretty good chance.
Yeah, you do, right? You're up there.
Oh, well, if Michigan won, I'd
Pick up.
have, I would have.
It was nice to meet you. Thank you, you too.
Win it, but
Nobody
now
has
it's
these teams though.
three ties. Three of
Kelly,
us are tied.
do you remember
And if
they
Eddie
did the
Molino
Burlington
wins
Trophy?
You
with
did.
Virginia,
Oh, I got one.
it's a
You did,
four-way
yeah.
tie.
I think that's
So but the scores are,
What do you
119, so it's 150,
There you go.
and between 17 and 119. The silver 130. Yeah.
He went with 119, Brendan.
Brendan, yeah, you went high.
What's that?
Two good defensive teams.
Good luck, guys. I hope you win the money.
I looked at their scores over their last 5, 6, 7 games, and they were between 60 and 70, and I'm like, all right, with one or two 58s.
What's the name of the thing that you have to
Yeah.
vote on?
So-
So you
Kyle
have
did 108.
Chops champion.
Chops,
And I
CHOPS?
won 21,
CHOPPS.
63 to 58, I think I did.
It's the
Yeah.
Chops Bar and Grill,
$44
it's a
for it.
restaurant.
Last place.
So-
You just go for the money.
That's right. So if you, is it, whoever guesses that right becomes the loser, the winner of the loser,
Yeah,
right?
winner
Yeah.
of the loser.
All right.
The winner of the loser.
Without
Brandon,
going
Can I
over.
give you this?
Yes, oh, yeah, the timesheet. It won't go until next week
Oh, it's
because
not.
she did the payroll
Are you
person.
kidding me? You know how long it's been since I remember the first one I did, how many weeks ago that was?
Yeah.
Just
Now,
remember.
when do you leave?
So we're leaving Tuesday. We're coming back on the 22nd. So if, and I don't know, I'm sure we come home, you know, before, I know, you had said that, so. Yeah, we come home on the 22nd, obviously sometime in the morning, I guess, or something.
Yeah. And you said you were staying,
We're gonna stay for the first time ever on Boardwalk.
Boardwalk, that's right.
Yeah, yeah. We usually do you remember, did you know Rocky and Peggy DeRosa? They
Yeah,
go to the
yeah.
students. So they have a timeshare. They
Yeah.
have 4 kids, they got a timeshare, like, that's the way, we don't have a timeshare.
yeah.
We always do a getaway through their timeshare.
Yeah,
So that's how we usually go, and now they're down there, so they moved down there, you know.
Yeah.
So this year, we're actually staying on our property and doing the whole, you know, visiting experience.
yeah, we'll see you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, right. Well, you know, they sell you on the vacation club, Disney Vacation Club.